Hello, guys, and welcome to our second episode of the CrazyCast, a podcast focused on the future of business, technology, and society, where our guests share opinions on the latest trends and giving valuable insights. Today, we have with us a global entrepreneur, crypto and Web3 leader, advising various successful businesses, and a fellow blockchain enthusiast, Anton Golub. Today, Anton is a Web3 tech celebrity. He appears in various podcasts, participating in events all around the world, and has a very entertainment crypto newsletter alongside with various published articles. Anton, thanks for being here. If you could make a short description to our listeners.
Awesome. So first, Renato, thank you very much for inviting me, and a pleasure to be on your podcast. And also, thank you very much for the impressive and kind introduction as well. Even when I was listening to it, I was like, wow, sounds amazing. So awesome. And, first, it's always great to speak to dear friends, and when you asked me kindly if I would like to join you for a podcast, we're super excited about it. And, looking forward today to an awesome discussion about DAOs, about AI, real world assets, our history, our background, about, your work. So looking forward. It's going to be awesome. Thank you.
Go. Um, okay. Can you tell us a little bit about what we've been doing at the moment? Like what has been your journey from flovtec? How did you get into it, and where you are at the moment?
Yeah. So just a brief introduction, for the people who don't know me, for the audience. Yeah. It's so kind of my journey and my story actually came from traditional finance. So I was a mathematician, computer scientist, a very, very good one, and kind of like after that journey, I really wanted to kind of enter into the finance industry. And particularly I wanted to work at a hedge fund, as a young man, wanted to be a trader at a hedge fund, and kind of my dream came true many, many, many years ago when I joined a very big Swiss hedge fund as a high frequency trader. And there I really learned how the markets work, how trading works, how the banking infrastructure works, how exchanges work. And it was like a fascinating experience and a great one. Really enjoyed it. And then I would like to say that I was at the right place at the right time. So back in 2015, I co-founded the second ever crypto company together with my boss for the hedge fund. So my boss at the hedge fund was a true visionary and kind of very, very smart guy. He was always telling me about the blockchain, about Bitcoin. So you have to understand, this is your 2012, 2013, so it's a lot different than today. But he was always telling me about the blockchain, about Bitcoin, how blockchain is a settlement instrument, a global platform where you can put assets, exchange them, swap them very efficiently, very fast, very cheap. And it really resonated for me as well, because I knew how the back office in finance works. I knew like how it works when you deal with the banks, how it works when you deal with exchanges. And, in my journey in the hedge fund, I had an fascinating experience. Like I was a high frequency trader. So I wrote algorithms that traded extremely fast. And, we would trade in milliseconds, really, really fast, really, really fast. But then people would tell me, oh, we settled the trades 2 days later. And I would be like, how did we end up in 2 days? I traded milliseconds. Where did we, build up the latency, this delay that we end up with 2 days? And obviously, when you learn how the finance system works, how archaic, how old it is, how inefficient it is, and how much we pay in fees because of how it works, which is a catastrophe, by the way. Then when I kind of understood what the blockchain does, for me, it was a clear understanding this will be the future. And obviously, something very unique that blockchain had was that it was decentralized. So really big innovation in the crypto industry, a decentralized system where everybody can participate, everybody can join. There is no single point of failure. There is no centralized entity deciding everything. And you have on top cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, that makes it all work. For me, it was a fascinating, concept and a fascinating experience. So when Richard told me, Anton, let's create a startup back in 2013 called Lykke, with a vision to build a digital asset exchange where everybody can exchange assets, or tokens. I was immediately in and I joined, and we launched as the second ever crypto company in Switzerland back in 2013 and had a fascinating experience. So over 5 years time period, I was co-leading it with Richard. So, it was a big success story. So 2 people to 200 people, office over the world, many different verticals within the company, one of the oldest and biggest crypto companies in Europe, big billion valuation. So it was like the whole setup. I did an exit and decided to go on my own, kind of have my own personal experience as a founder, where I'm the CEO in 2018, where I decided to do an exit from Lykke. And I launched a market making company, flovtec, where you and I met.
Yeah.
And usually people ask me, wait, you founded Lykke, you founded a crypto exchange, then why did you launch a market maker? And there is something magical that happens the first day when you launch a crypto exchange. You learn how important liquidity is. If there's no liquidity, it all fails. So for me, it was like, who solves the problem of liquidity? And obviously it's a market maker. So market maker creates liquidity for all the tokens that you see on the exchanges. So for me, it was like a no-brainer business model. And I launched flovtec, Flov Technologies. I was leading as a CEO for almost 5 years, market making for a lot of exchanges, top tier ones. I'm sure you would know all of them. For some projects, some really big, huge, famous ones that I'm sure you would know of, but a lot of early stage ones. So kind of shape all shapes. And this is where you and I met.
Yeah.
I remember when you were talking to me, we met in 2022, I think, actually, or something, towards end of 2021, you and I got in touch for the first time and we talked and you were telling me about your vision, how you want to build an ecosystem that enables startup to grow and to, demonstrate their abilities and present them actually to the public and to the right people. And I thought it was a fascinating and brilliant concept and we always stayed in touch. And it kind of fast forward, I did an exit from flovtec in 2022, just before the whole crypto industry went crazy. And
Right time again.
Recently I've been running a DAO. I have to say, my timing is freaking amazing. So people not usually say, let's call Anton from time to time and ask him how he feels about exit because usually, obviously it's a lot of luck involved. I mean, I don't understand. I don't have a crystal ball, but I had fairly good timing on 2 occasions, hopefully maybe on the third one as well. And, recently I've been running a DAO in Switzerland, so decentralized autonomous organization. So really a new innovation in the crypto industry, where we focus on enabling crypto native companies to invest into real world assets. So even though I wanted to give a short introduction about myself, I realized now it was very long. So I meant to work to you.
No, that's perfect. But man, curious here. What was your call for the exit on Flov? Like you said, time is everything. But what made you like, okay, cool, like now's the time to go, new venture?
Yeah. So it was actually something very, personal business related as well. But really so I had, this is not known now, but it's irrelevant it's not like a big secret now. So I had a vision to launch a token for flovtec.
Okay.
So I wanted to be the first market maker in the world to launch a token. And it was a brilliant idea how we want to structure it. I thought it was a brilliant way. And I thought we were really going to be at the cutting edge of innovation. Because today, if you just think about it, not a single market maker, or at least not the relevant one that I know, has ever launched a token with a brilliant vision how to do it. And I had a vision how to do it, but it actually never materialized. So due to many different reasons, it didn't happen. And I kind of felt actually at that moment, it's time for me actually to find another thing. I kind of felt I had done whatever I could have done. I had another big vision that I wanted to do. Kind of didn't play out for many different reasons. I think also for timing. I think mid of 2022 when I left, I think the timing was not the right one for a token, and decided to do an exit actually, which I think in the end was the best experience.
Okay, cool. That's around the time you decided to move to Dubai, right? You're from Cyprus, and then you decided to go and experience where all the Web3 crew is moving to. It was around the time, if I'm right?
Yeah, so I've been living in Switzerland for more than 15 years, almost very long time actually. And I was always very closely observing what was happening in the Middle East. So my first, visit to the Middle East was back in 2015 or 16, something like that. Because with my first company, we had an office, small like a rep office there. And I arrived there for the first time. When you come for the first time to Dubai, you're like, wow, this place is amazing. A miracle in the sand, the desert, And also I met very interesting people very early on. So my close friend Sam, today I'm late in the crypto industry in UAE and Dubai. And I was always observing what happened. And there's something kind of special that was happening in 2022, 2023 in Dubai. Is all the smartest people are coming there. They see all the smartest people on the planet in one way, either they move there. So they say, I'm moving here, or they spend a lot of For me, this is an amazing signal what's happening, because I will tell you why. I had experience in growth of Swiss crypto wallets, literally built there from the first day. And what people don't know today, the glory days of Swiss crypto wallet, or no, Switzerland is a crypto jurisdiction, crypto country. But in 2016, 17, 18, that ICO bubble, when a lot of capital was raised. And what was happening there is all the smartest people on the planet were coming to Switzerland back then.
Mm-hmm.
So you had the top talent on the planet was coming and staying and being in Switzerland and building their company. But those glory days are gone, actually. So if you go today to Crypto Valley, you see that it's a lot quieter or very quiet, than what. But we see now something special happening in Dubai. You have a very progressive government, you have very passionate and driven people. You have a lot of opportunities to grow, to do your business and grow your business and build your business. And most important, you have the people coming there. And for me, this is a clear sign that I need to make my move slowly. I'm, on my way to Dubai.
Yeah, no, like I keep analyzing of all the movement and what is happening. So we saw each other in January when I was there last time, and I'm coming again for Token 2049. And there are a few things that is happening. So for the Crazy Startup, when you think about having the finals of the reality show, it's good to have a region because we bring a lot of innovation, talent, investments. So Dubai itself is all about like showing off, like, oh god, you guys come here, quality life, you have the support that you need, all the so we might have some announcements to come soon, but we want like them to embrace and really give full support for what we're doing. So I guess in the next few months we'll make a move, and I'll be joining in Dubai for a while. Let's see how it goes.
If the best way you hear that dear friends are currently moving to Dubai, so it's going to be a lot. I think you described Dubai perfectly. So Dubai is a lot of blackness, a lot of talk. Fine, marketing has to be very strong and all that, but also reality is that it's very early. If you go there on the ground, doing things, working, then you actually realize it's very early on. But that's an opportunity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's not a problem. It's an opportunity that it's so early on. I think it's going to be a great opportunity for you because your character, your vibe, how you are as a person, it's exactly what Dubai wants. It's exactly what Dubai needs. I think it's going to be a massive success. And whatever you do there, trust me, it's going to be accurate. And I want to be a part of it.
Oh, cool. Thanks, man. Okay. Let me think here. Okay, you are promoting Web3 ecosystem and stuff. When you meet someone that is not into Web3, what is a strategy to actually convince someone to join? Like, what do you actually use? What are your words? Do you have like an example of a business, like of a sector that you like to mention?
Yeah, so I think it's a great question. It's like, how do you convince a person that this is the future, that this is the right choice potentially for them?
Yeah.
I have learned we cannot convince people. People need to convince themselves, actually, right? And you're just an enabler to do that. And many times there are certain people you cannot convince them. They are against whatever you are doing, you're preaching, you're talking about. That's again. And my effort to try to convince them is not optimal use of my time. So when you ask me now, I was just thinking as you were asking the question, I actually don't try to convince people. Like if I notice that they can't be convinced, if I just think, oh, I think this person can't be convinced, I cut it. I said, okay, we are not, we can be friends if we want, but I cannot do that. I think what really, first, we need to be realistic. Like people usually get attracted because of the price. I mean, let's be serious, like Bitcoin goes up, everybody starts coming in. And I think many people get fascinated by the fact how cool we are as an industry, that we're a movement. It's like this mentality, us versus them. We are the good guys, we're good guys, we're the future. And they're the bad guys at the past. And we are now need to bring the world forward. So I think everybody who has ever joined the crypto industry, like in the last year, they told me such a cool industry, that people are so cool, such a great community, great vibe, and all the great, madness that happens. But I think people get attracted by the movement and by the value of decentralization, because decentralization is our true innovation, like as a whole industry. So I think people who had bad experience with power, who had bad experience with abuse of power, and who see a brighter future with decentralization, I think they're the ones to be convinced. So decentralization.
Cool. I think you answered my next question. Like, thinking that you've been with blockchain and crypto projects for a while, what is the most attractive thing a startup can bring? Is it a use case, social impact, or is there any other thing that can make a huge difference?
Yeah. So first is the fact, we have to be realistic that we are there to provide a product or a service that solves problems.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we are here as companies, as startups. It's not so much about us in the end, it's about the client. What solution do we offer to the client, which he will pay us in return for data? This is, in a sense, like why we as a startup should be here and how we think about it. I think that it's an amazing experience to be on that journey, because usually startups don't start like that. Usually start, a product. Nobody wants it. Nobody wants to pay for it. You have to change it. Again, nobody wants to pay for it. It's still garbage. You have to completely change the company and now do something else. And you offer a product and you iterate until you get there. And I think it's a fascinating journey to kind of finally achieve something with a product for people that they find it useful, it solves their problems, and you get paid for it, which is like mind-blowing concept for me, right? This is also a very dark journey, a very difficult journey. I mean, you are a startup founder, you know how difficult it is, and we all glorified, oh, I did this, I did that, this company. I mean, but it was, you have to be fully in the company and the goals and the values of the company. Ultimately, we have to offer a product or a service to a client that's on pay for, because then it becomes sustainable. But it's an amazing journey because of the people. Because you don't do it alone, with people, you meet people, you have partners, you have friends, and being on that journey with them, you develop relationships that last for a lifetime. And I have to tell you, together with my boss at the hedge fund and partner and co-founder in the first startup, Lykke, Richard, he's like 30 years older than me, he's like a father to me. This is the relationship that we have. He's not my father, but he is like a father to me. And that's, in the end, what makes it so valuable.
Yeah, because he brought you to the industry. So continue on that. I like to say that when I see startups, I like to, using the use case of the crazy startup, I like to believe that we are going to be bringing the opportunities for the public to learn about the teams, what they've been building, how they operate together, and ensuring that they have a way to collaborate with them, to feel part of it, to have a chance of investing. And it was actually like a pain that I had from watching entertainments like Shark Tank and Dragon's Den. And I was looking into beautiful presentations. I'm the kind of person that I cry, I celebrate, I go, like, if there's a really beautiful pitch, if there's a beautiful story behind, I go into it. But we cannot like be part of it. It's all the sharks or the dragons that are there that are saying, hey, this is a good business. We want to invest for this amount of money. This is what I can do. So they are competing to have the chance of investing in the project. But what about the viewers, the people from home? What about if there was a way for them to feel part of this project and really push, help them out to grow, give opinions? And that's when we're going to go into the DAO concept, because I want to see if what we can do. I don't know if, like, we wouldn't say if, I know that we can, but what we can do with the crazy startup and thinking like on a DAO concept with what we're building. But going to my next question, let me confirm this. You have 13 academic papers and 2 books co-authored, correct?
Exactly.
Wicked. What do you believe is the most impactful contribution to the field, and why?
So the first thing is actually that it's an amazing experience to write or, research papers and books, and especially books. I think it's very like an exotic thing for people, like, oh, here, that person wrote the book. But first, to tell you, like writing a research paper is very different than what people imagine, because you are writing a paper that you're going to submit to a scientific journal that has its own criteria, and then they have to evaluate if this is the right fit for them, and they'll say yes or no. Usually it's like a maybe, but if you improve this, then we publish it. This is usually the process. And it's a painful process. To publish a paper usually takes you like a year or 2 years. So just to tell you, like, for people who don't know. But writing a book, just to say that and then answer the question, like writing for me was an amazing experience the first time I did it, because I didn't know how much work it goes into writing a book. So the first time when we were writing a book, I said, I want to do it. I want to write a book. I will do everything. And everybody was looking at me. I remember it still, I was looking at him like, why is this guy so enthusiastic, excited to write a book? Doesn't he know how much work it is? I didn't know, obviously. I started, I was the kind of the stakeholder. I was kind of driving it. 6 months later, I'm thinking, why the heck did I say I want to write a book? This is so much work. And, you have to be in a specific mindset to write a book. Like it's very different from your day-to-day things. You have to think, how do I, in a very concise, precise, interactive, and engaging way write something, which is in the end like business-driven. It's like business-focused. So on the second book that I co-authored, I said, I will do as little as possible. Who wants to be the stakeholder? And I will contribute, but I don't want to be the main person. But so this is kind of my journey and my story. But so today I'm a lot smarter, knowing how much effort it takes both to write a scientific paper and publicly published, and to publish a book. Now, the most impactful, there were three most impactful papers that I did there. The first one was when I was working in the UK for as a researcher on the topic of high frequency trading. So that was, just to explain the context, it was like 2009-10. High frequency trading was just starting. So this computerized trading on big exchanges was just starting, and nobody knew about it a lot. And I knew about it. I learned a lot about it because I was a researcher and I was interacting with the industry. And I wrote a paper called Overview of High Frequency Trading, where I just explained what happens there. Today you might say, well, that's so basic, but back then it was huge because nobody knew what's happening there. And I was like writing, and I wrote it. And I remember my boss back then, a very nice Singaporean lady, she kept telling me, we need to publish it. We need to put it online. We have to do it because it's one of your goals as part of your job description. I said, okay, well, let's put it out there. Like anybody will ever read it. People read it. And for many, many years, it was the second hit on Google if you typed in high frequency trading.
Wow.
So this was actually, when you tell me what was very impactful, it was actually that paper, because I was just the first one to write things. And I did great work, but it was like, I just said, this is what happens in high frequency trading. And it was the right timing again. The right timing, if you put out something, it can really it can do amazing things for you. And on the back of that, I did another paper where I talked about crashes in the financial markets done by computerized traders. So I then wrote a paper after how these crashes happen in the markets, but they're done by these computerized traders. Now I learned that it's important to put out stuff online. So I put it out again, and it was a huge success story as well. So it's today, a lot of academics, governments, the paper was quoted in Congress in the US, in many committees. So it's highly, highly quoted paper because I kind of described how these computerized traders cause crashes, And the last paper, so this was also a huge impact, for me personally, I think, that landed me a job later with the UK government as an expert on computerized trading. And the third most impactful paper that I did was actually when I explained how I did computerized trading. The reason why that was kind of important is because the traders are so secretive, for a good reason, for a good reason. You know how to do it well and make a lot of money. But I kind of explained how this works and how to do it. And today, this is one of the top 1,000 quoted papers in the world, actually. It had, because it was so famous. And download the papers on a huge publishing platform called SSRN. And, we put it again out there. And today, it's like, I think it's 600 most downloaded paper on the whole platform, which you can imagine they have tens of millions of papers there. This one is top, I think it's 600 something. So it's kind of
sharp.
should you summarize? You have to let me summarize it and then later I move to something else. It's important to create content, and then you have to put it out in the public for people to see it and use it and benefit from it. I'll pause now.
Yeah, no, I know. Any other books coming soon? Is there anything that you're working on?
No, thank God. I'm too
No.
busy. So nothing. The last paper I did publish was like 2 years ago.
Okay.
And I mean, look, I mean, Renato, you and I know each other. I create a lot of content and I put it on social media platforms, but this is not enough for a book. It is not enough for a serious research paper. So, but I'm kind of focusing more myself towards the trends today, which is short format content, videos, social media platforms. Today, it's a bigger thing if you publish a paper on Twitter or on X and it goes viral, and you publish it in a top scientific journal that nobody reads anymore. Times have changed,
Yeah, no. I remember when you were in Dubai and you were saying about the numbers that you were achieving on LinkedIn. You are like the LinkedIn guy. People are coming to you and say like, "Hey, I know you from LinkedIn," and how you kind of like change it from writing only to like making videos and really push like people to actually see. So you're telling about the market, updates of what is happening. Can you go a little bit more in details like of what has changed since you took this approach?
Yeah. So approach that you mentioned, I took it like a year and 2 months ago. So in November, so 1st of November 2022, I started writing. It was the day before FTX collapsed and exploded. So started writing about crypto. Look, for me, at first, my goal is actually to educate. Back then, it is when I started, was about educating public what's really happening in crypto, and really to tell them, I as an insider, a lot of experience, a couple of companies. Oh my God, let me tell you, or at least I want to educate people. God, how it works, and it was very obvious. People liked it a lot. So today, I mean, in this year time period, I have more than 8 million views. To tell you on LinkedIn, I have 8 million views. Huge, by the way. It's very cheap for people who they say, "Oh, I have 5 million views." I say, yeah, 5 million is also amazing. So it's a huge numbers in terms of views. And today, kind of trying to do what you're doing with crypto, because it's so important to have distribution. Distribution channel, very important. You need to have something. You need to have something that this distribution channel, which is high quality content. And then these distribution channels and high quality content, they do the thing. They raise awareness about me and attract attention. So to discover others is time. Posting about on LinkedIn. They say, "Oh, it's cool. Let me look more what he's doing." I start building trust. So this is second. So building trust, which is so important. And then the third thing is I do the sale. I have to, obviously have a product, so you do the sale. Now think about it. This is what you are going to achieve amazingly for the startups with your project. Because, you're going to follow the projects, the companies, the startups, what they're doing, going to be very interactive, going to film them, create content. And people will be able to find out about this project. Very important to find out. Then with you, they'll be able to build trust with the investors, with the community, with the client. And then, they have to achieve their goal, which is whatever they're selling in the end, at an investment product. They'll be able to do the sale and hopefully get an investment in the product. So, look, what I'm doing is not different actually than, I think it's okay, it's very different in the form, doing the same thing. And you're doing amazing work, I tell you, because I know how difficult it is for us to raise awareness about yourself, your trust in sell a product, because you're starting with zero. Nobody knows about you. And imagine you will be able to speed. I mean, this is amazing. I'm so excited about doing.
Yeah.
What a support you anyway.
And I look at what you're doing, and I want to do the same. I'm like, man, he's doing pretty well. And when I say like I want to do the same, it was not something that I was really focused for a very long time until two big people from the industry came up and said like, Renato, the Crazy Startups vision is amazing. The reality show is brilliant, but you need to go out to the market. Go out with a podcast. pitch and invest. Speak with startup founders, give them the opportunity of tell what they've been doing, and help them out to raise money with your community. And this is going to be your MVP. Then you have 10,000, 20,000. Then you're going to be able to think about the reality show. So, second phase. And if you do this, we'll give you support. I'm not going to mention names, but it's two like multi-billionaire companies, like they're huge. So like we started, like, and when you have like 10 different podcasts, a few startups, we're going to be approaching them and showing what we've been doing, how the community grew, and then have them to support the CrazyCast as part of the Crazy Startup. And I don't know why I was scared for so long, I didn't feel comfortable, even though we have calls the whole day. Like we're speaking with people, you're telling what I've been doing. It's just a normal conversation. I was scared to have my face out there. I don't know why. And now I know that we're gonna keep getting better, hotter and hotter conversations. So it's always good to start bringing friends to conversations, and friends that you look into and say like, man, like he's a top voice on LinkedIn. Like people know how he's positioning, what is his strategy. So like an analyze, and you're doing pretty well. So well done you. And
Okay.
now, Anton,
Thank you.
let's go into the topic of DAOs now, right? So you are co-founder of SwissDAO, SwissAssetDAO. And for our listeners who are not aware, like they don't understand the concept, um, can you please make easy introduction? Not, can you please tell them in an easy way of what you've been doing? What is the positive sides of a DAO? And how Swiss Asset DAO differentiates itself from other DAOs in the market.
Okay. Yeah. So I will first give an explanation what the DAO is, but it will not involve the blockchain, or it will involve the crypto. Only later I'll explain where, there's a usage of blockchain technology to do that. And look, DAOs means decentralized autonomous organizations. So decentralized means that nobody has, and not a single person has the power, but it's the community that has the power. Autonomous means kind of like that things are predefined and automated, whenever you want, in a DAO, but it's kind of like defined and executed through technology and organization, and everybody knows what it is. So this is what a DAO, decentralized autonomous organization, in terms of like the wording means. Now, DAOs are actually all about bringing the community together. This is basically what a DAO is. And that's a big innovation, I would say, in the world, actually, not only in our industries, because most people, most companies see their community as clients. They don't see them as anything else, actually, in most cases. So they don't see them as fans. They don't see them as enablers. They don't definitely want to see them as a part of decision making. They don't want to see them as part of decision making. So, a relationship or a company with a community is like, you are a client. I give you a product, you get what you want, I get money back. That is it. And the crypto industry really turned this concept upside down, because in the crypto industry, we understand how important it is to have a loyal and engaged community that is really standing behind your back, and supporting you and being more than a client, being more than a user. And that's actually what DAOs are all about, and why they're specific, and why they started in the crypto industry, because crypto companies realized very early on that they have to have the support of the community behind them, have them engaged, have them loyal in order to succeed. And that's where the concept of a DAO kind of came about as well. Is how can we enable the community to be a part of the project, to have a voice in the project, and to be a decision maker in the project through blockchain technology. And when I say blockchain technology, I mean these smart contracts and tokens and kind of things are happening on the blockchain. But really the goal of a DAO is actually to build up a community. There's a stakeholder in the project, in the company. So this is what a DAO is, like very, very high level for people to understand. And now to tell you what's the biggest benefit of a DAO and what's the biggest challenge. The biggest benefit is you have a community that's engaged. You need clients, they're there. You need fans. You need people to talk about you. That's members of your DAO. You need talent. Find them in your DAO, find them in your community. And that's the most amazing thing about DAOs. So it's not about blockchain technology because you can use it more or less, when you run your DAO, but it's about the community that's loyal and engaged to the mission of the company, the mission of the project. This is the biggest upside. The biggest challenge is you need to manage the community. I mean, this is an enormous amount of work. You have to talk to them, engage them, do community calls, motivate them, get them involved. And this is a lot of work. So I have never imagined actually that now I know how much work it is, but before we started it out, I thought it was just awesome. I thought, okay, we create a Telegram channel, we create a Discord group, we put them all there, and then now they're all happy and I have a DAO. But it's not like that. It's really about having an engaged, motivated community that are part of the project, a stakeholder. And but the upside that you get from the community is worth it to put so much effort to build a community. So to every startup out there, to every project out there, I tell you, create your own DAO. Or maybe you don't need to do a DAO if you don't know how to operate it, but you need to build up a community. And that's again why I'm so excited about what you're doing. You have such a great, you have such a great vibe. You have such a great personality, and you know how to bring communities and people together. And when you do that, and when you have your own DAO, if you want to have a DAO, I'm here to help, by the way. When you have your own DAO, then it's going to be such an amazing success story because you will have so much benefits from the community. They're going to help you with clients, with investors, with getting the word out, growing with you, supporting you, cheering you, giving you criticism as well, right? To improve, but they're going to be behind you. Crazy Startup is going to be such a success story. I'm super excited.
Yeah, man. Can you go a little bit more into your DAO members? I remember you saying that you have some really important people that are part of the DAO, and so like it makes you guys super strong because you have key members that are there for a specific reason. And how was there a strategy for you to select them? Like, how did you approach them? Is there anything that you can tell us?
Yes. Yeah, so I can explain the story. So imagine this. I did an exit from flovtec. 3 days later or 2 days later, FTX bankrupt, huge scandal, problems, everything looks at it horrible. But this was in the industry. It was not related to me, but it was in the industry. And then my good friend, Michael Ray, comes to me and says, Anton, let's you and I create an initiative on real world assets. And we need to really, tokenization is the big thing. We need to make it happen. Now is the right time. Let's put away all the bad stuff and do good things, really, really kind of, it was very passionate. And he said, but let's do it as a DAO because you need to have a community on board, and we'll together do it. And we'll call it SwissAssetDAO because it's from Switzerland dealing with real world assets and we make it a DAO. So SwissAssetDAO. And I said, this is amazing. Don't know how DAOs operate, but let's do it. Sounds amazing. And we said, let's go out. But imagine, so we were so passionate and energized and motivated. Let's do SwissAssetDAO. But on the other side, the vibe in the community was a disaster because of the bankruptcies, because of the scandals, because of the problems. And then we were thinking, oh my God, we have to do this properly. Otherwise, the people will not like it. So we really thought a lot how we create a legal framework for our DAO. And we're today pioneers in creating a legal framework for DAOs. How do you structure DAO to have a legal wrapper to be protected from everything that's happening around it? How do you do it in a legal way? And I remember when we were going around, and I have a very strong network in the crypto world, but I was going and telling to people, we're going to do a DAO focused on real world assets, SwissAssetDAO, and everybody was looking at me saying, oh, Anton, this crypto industry is very rough. Crazy stuff is happening, So, we really had to think very closely, how do we do it in a perfectly proper way to get the right people motivated to get involved because of the bankruptcies and the scandals that were happening.
Mm-hmm.
So we really did it the proper way. We engaged with lawyers. We worked a lot on the legal framework, how we do it properly, make sure we structure it the right way. And people really like that. So very serious people really like that. And they were kind of observing us for a long time to show that we are motivated to do it in the right way. And we got some amazing members. So we have around 200 members now. And the quality is spectacular. So the top people in Europe, in Switzerland, in crypto, especially on the legal side, DAO side, real world assets, we have them as our members. And I'm allowed to say it. I'm very proudly say the State Secretary of Economic Affairs for Switzerland is a member in the DAO.
Wow.
And I know he's busy with his day job, So he's not like he's every day doing something. I mean, he's a member. So, it's just, it was an amazing experience and a lot to work. But if you do things the right way, rewards will come. That's my experience.
Go. Anyone can become a member of your DAO. Like, what is the process and to become a member?
Yeah. So everybody can become a member of a DAO. We do have a selection process. In a sense, we have to do like, we kind of, by law, we have to kind of identify people. And I usually explain it like we have to do very light KYC,
Yeah.
in a sense that, we know who is this person, but everything is done properly. There is an approval process, that we accept you as a member. We didn't have rejected applications so far, which is good, but everybody can become a member. And I invite people who resonate with the values of DAOs, resonate with values of decentralization, and resonate with the real world asset to come and join SwissAssetDAO.
Cool. Now, I like when you say like, I'm here if you want to discuss about building a DAO for the Crazy Startup. So the Crazy Startup has two or three different ways to see, right? So if you think about the entertainment sides, it's cool. You can bring DAOs to entertainment in various ways. But when you think about the concept of the accelerator slash launchpad of how to support projects, help them out to grow, and have them the public involved in like in engagement, collaboration, investments. So from these two perspectives, let's say, how do you see a DAO in the crazy startup ecosystem?
Yeah. So first is you actually described something very important about your future DAO is that first people need to understand there are several different types of DAOs. Okay. So DAO is not all in one shape or form. And your DAO will be an investment DAO, in my view, when I think about it will be an investment DAO and a community DAO. So this is kind of how I envision it actually on your side first. And the reason why I think it's important is because I think your DAO will have a unique opportunity to be a stakeholder also from an investment perspective into the startups that you are supporting and presenting and so on. So first one, you need to be an investment DAO in the sense that you should actually source and raise capital from professional institutional investors, but maybe from your members and so on. And then that DAO will have an ability to have capital to support and grow the company that are part of your show. But the second thing is, I think also you need to have the community involved, both from a perspective that you're an investment DAO, so you can source, as well, capital and talent for the DAO, but also because my experience is with startups is they need a lot of help. It's like a small baby that needs to grow. And, the more support and help they have, the better. So I think also from a perspective, you should be a community DAO as well, in a sense that your members should be startup founders, who have the right experience, people who can enable companies to grow. Investors should potentially be members of your DAO as well. So this is kind of how I imagine, So Crazy Startup DAO, I don't know, you can pick your name. It's
The
definitely,
crazy
in
DAO.
my view, should definitely be an investment DAO, but the crazy arts, man, this is amazing. I love it. So the Crazy DAO should be an investment DAO and a community DAO. And I think it will be perfectly matched kind of what you're trying to do. So these are kind of my first thoughts around it.
And the slogan is like, "Are you crazy enough? Join us."
No, I love it. I love it. Are you crazy now?
Yeah.
Keep
Okay.
it crazy,
Yeah, a bit crazy. Yeah, like I gave the name of the crazy startup. Is thinking about the skilled avatar, right? So if you have the word crazy, it can go in a bad way. If you position it right, it can go in a really nice way. And even think about this avatar, crazy investor, innovation, like thinking out of the box. So the goal is to have, we're working on it, to have a sort of avatar that can be catchy. So then you're gonna go NFT collection. There's gonna be part of the community, and then in the future, when we have something that's related to educational about entrepreneurship to even kids, family wise. So if this is a very cool avatar, it can go viral because the kids are going to be relating, like seeing the crazy avatar saying like, "Hey, crazy." So that's why we gave the name. Um, and anyway, for you to be a startup founder, you need to be crazy as well. So it all went together, and luckily, like the name was available, so we took it and we go for it. We went for it. So I have one more question before we go, and giving your two more actually, giving your successful career in ventures, what advice would you give to aspiring entrepreneurs looking to innovate in the fintech and blockchain space?
Hmm. Well, first of all, I would say, I could give many advices actually to people, kind of when I reflect on my journey. But I think the most important is something that's very much related to your life, how you live your life, is that if you create a startup, you should be very passionate about building that startup, growing that startup, and making it a big success. And the reason why I say passionate, because many people then say, yeah, I can be passionate. So why does he mention it? Because startups usually have ups and downs, ups and downs. And the downs are really difficult for you as a person, for your character, for your, mental state, when things are not going as planned. And then the only reason why you're going to keep on going, keep on doing, is because you're passionate and committed to your startup.
Mm-hmm.
So this is really like the biggest advice that I would like to give, is that you really need to believe in what you're doing, even though maybe what you're doing is wrong. But don't worry, you will find out at one point that they will change, right? But even though if you're wrong, you have to keep on going, keep on doing it, adjusting, making sure, that you try to find a way to make your startup a massive success story. And by that, I mean, usually the biggest challenge is like, how do we make a startup viable? How do we create a product that other people want to buy and pay for? This is your biggest challenge when you start, actually. And then later it's scaling, actually. So you really need to be passionate. You really need to keep on going. And just, yeah, and it's a very difficult, exciting journey, but they're a very rewarding one. It's a massive success. And just say, do it, be passionate about your work, what you're working on, because the down, when things are not going so well, it can be really, dark moment for all of us, or dark moments. Usually it's like months or years when it's not going well. But when you crack it, when you find it, you're going to be so happy, and it's going to be all worth it. So be passionate and go make your startup a massive success.
Cool. Good. Now to finalize is a topic that is very hot at the moment. So I'd like to know your take on it. And then I'll mention something that we're also working on. So about AI and DAOs, how do you see integration of both? And even like you can even thinking about the crazy startup, right? How do you see like the integration of AI and how can it be used like for a good cause?
Yes. So I think the intersection of DAOs and AI are actually twofold. One is where AI is an enabler of a DAO, but also I see an intersection where AI is a threat to a DAO. So let me first explain the threat. So when I talk about threats, actually, AI, or generative AI, to be precise, is really unleashed a next phase in, the digital world, where people can create content out of thin air within a second. So written text, video, even more dangerous, audio, also dangerous as well. In a very soon, it will not be really clear to us what is real and what is not, because of AI. So,
Hmm.
I mean, Renato, let's be honest. How do I know this is you? You're nothing. We're not in the same person. Maybe this is sophisticated AI talking, and I don't know, this is really you. Maybe this is all fake. Likewise, maybe I just installed a sophisticated AI. By the way, you even have those AIs today, actually, so it's not like a big deal. Where maybe this is just kind of, prescribed from AI, from ChatGPT or Sora or whatever, which what's the name of the tools, and you don't really know what's real or what's not real. And I think very soon we will be using blockchain technologies and DAOs in smart contracts to authenticate that what's in the digital world is real.
Mm-hmm.
Because imagine you have members of your DAO and they vote. And then, the vote passes. And then the member shows up and says, I was not me voting. Well, why did you say that I voted like that? And you say, yeah, but we were, we saw actually that you were doing something, as a member, and we thought it was you. I said, no, this was actually your generated. This was not me. It was a deep fake, as they call it today. So I think when it comes to authenticity and verification and validity, this is a big opportunity where blockchain technology, specifically DAOs, because DAOs are about managing communities and managing specifics around the community, where you're going to have an intersection between the two from a threat perspective. But then I think also blockchain technology can solve that, in the context of verification. So this is the threat. The opportunity part is, DAOs, I think the autonomous part matches very nicely to AI, because AIs today are very much portrayed like your enablers, your co-pilots, your co-captains, somebody who is, there supporting you in your day-to-day life. And when I kind of reflect how much work it was for us to run a DAO, where you can actually implement AI to be an enabler and a co-pilot and a co-community manager of a DAO, I think that's actually where there's a potential to use it, But I think that's one, but I really think the big upside will be actually on the side of verification and validity. Very soon we will not know what's real, what's not real. People will be generating content. You'll be spammed in content, but you will not know what's real and what's not real. And I think there, DAOs and blockchain technology can be a huge enabler.
Yeah. I have a good friend, an advisor, Scott Throwbridge. He's vice president at Stability AI, one of the leading generative AIs open source in the market. So we're looking into something. Hopefully, I'm not saying anything, but I see like there's a lot of things that can be done with the crazy startup and Stability. And I try to see in three ways. So the entertainment side, our script was written by Endemol Brazil. So it's the leading distributor of content in the industry. They're behind Big Brother, Deal or No Deal, The Wipeout. They've done a pretty amazing job. On the AI side, we aim for stability, for the friendship that we have, and also like that they have been looking a lot the experiences of Scott before leading Circle, and how we can actually bring stability to support the crazy startup as an entertainment side, and also the startups that are participating in the show that are building on like AI, whatever related. And then it's missing the third part, which I believe we have on a confirmation now from one of the top 5 chains in the industry. I'm not going to mention names yet because I'm not allowed. But then we are able to cover like the best out of the best in every possible aspect. So I'm saying this because I want to make you on a podcast. I want to invite you to actually like be leading, see the possibilities of what we can do with the CrazyDAO. And as a friend and knowing your experience, I would like to have you on board to know like if you would like to be involved somehow if this is something that is interesting for you, because then we can bring a DAO strategy with the crazy startup ecosystem, and also look into what we can offer to the partners that I just mentioned now. So thinking about stability and the mall and the chain soon to announce. And it will make our case much stronger knowing they have someone experience and bringing it down on the investment side and on the community side.
Awesome. With pleasure, my dear friend. And after I was pitching myself the whole time, I'm happy and honored and humbled to support you and help you. So you have my full support. And
Okay.
let me know how I can help you. And I'm 100% in.
Okay, cool. Good that you said yes, otherwise it would be really bad, no? No, joking. But yeah.
No, come on. The whole show, I'm saying, come on, let's do it. Let's do it. And thank you very much for offering it. Really appreciate it.
Cool. We'll be chasing you for now. Anton, I think that's it. It has been almost an hour now. Thank you very much for your time again. And it was a pleasure. Very nice chat as always. And I'll see you in Dubai in a few weeks.
Awesome. Thank you very much, my friend. See you soon. And thank you for having me on your show. It was amazing. Thank you.
Cool. Have a good day. Bye bye.